Maybe we'll get a better weapon to drop in here. That would be ideal. Whoa. Whoa. Hit a 2-stone run? Crazy. .23 cold, whereas this has 14. But it also has some lightning resist. Okay. Let's see how terrible this will be. Okay. Not terrible. Not terrible. Not terrible. Oh, he's blocking me. That's funny. Oh shit. Oh shit. Alright.
No more. Innocence. What in damnation?
They saved me the trouble of burning this place down. I wanted to raise the place, but this is just excessive. You die rather well.
The grind keeps on going. interesting. We got a gem. Okay. What do I want to get? Alright, what do I want to get with the gem? Tempest Shield would be pretty good. I don't know if I can get that from Ziosa, but if I could, that would be really good. And I think that's the play. The Molten Shell would be really good too. Or Blood Rage. I'm gonna go with Tempest Shield if he has it.
It's so.
It's probably a drop only. Okay, so if it's a drop only, we're not gonna be able to get any of the auras. That's right. So we probably want. I wonder if Blood Rage is available for purchase. Okay, we can get a Blood Rage going. So there's that. That'll work.
Whatever happened to a good old-fashioned grave?
Barbed Club. Soul Eater. This guy is probably not worth it, so we're just gonna run away. We're gonna run away. I do wonder what's behind this. Might go try to figure that out in here.
Not
Good luck out there.
remember, we do this for freedom.
Okay. Decent amount of gold saved up. These guys hurt. Particularly this guy. What do I want to do here? I think we just go more damage and some block chance. Yeah, we'll go for this. I hate these guys. So we're gonna get the hell out of here. that should be it. Act 5 done. Halfway through the campaign.
Flame may flicker, but it cannot be extinguished. Is this what losing a fight feels like? Ugh.
I'm. Remember. Alright, don't think.
I've never been one for history class. Back to where it all began.
Not thrilled about my resistances, but we'll hopefully fix those over the next 20 levels or so. This is slightly terrifying. I kind of want the XP. This is pretty good. Ah, this guy's annoying. Endurance charge, one hit, yeah. I think I'm good. Okay. Terrible.
Greetings.
Look at that helm. For one orb of alchemy, I'm not that rich. Now, the fire guys are going to be incredibly scary right now, because my resistance is still really low. This guy blocks attacks. Okay. Alright, this is where things are going to be serious. Gotta clean this shit up quick. Oh, that worked. Alright, let's just kill this dude. It actually went okay-ish. It's a lot of life to give up on the helm. Did I not get the eye? Thought I killed the... Oh, the quest item, I left it behind. That's funny. that was a hit. Okay. I'm honestly terrified to do Shav. My lightning resistance is pretty awful. 108 life is pretty huge, but we lose too much resistance. But we can save this. It's not armor though. I really want armor. 19 chaos resistance? What the fuck? And it's got lightning resist, which we desperately need right now. Is that dexterity gonna hurt me? No. Okay. That gives us some lightning resist. +6 gets us a little bit closer, more comfortable for sure. No jeweler orb. That's fine though, because we can put. Oh, blood rage is too high level now, so we do need some dex. We could pick up this. Do I have? Still need this for intelligence? Yeah. Yeah, we'll grab this next, I guess.
Good tidings to you.
Oh, well, we have this now. Beautiful. Get blood rage back in the gear. I gotta start doing the labs for Cruel. Honestly? Like, really, dude? Really? What the fuck is that gem? That's terrible. These gem drops, man. Mana leech? Like, really? I mean, I guess it would help with some stain. Am I really gonna 4-link it like that? Probably. Actually. It's the best I got right now.
Is the strongest metal of them all.
Thanks for the sub, pay. This could be a situation. What the fuck are these things? What the fuck was that? one more level in before chat. Wouldn't mind that. What do I want to get now? It's a lot of armor. I kind of want to work towards... What do I have here planned out? Could get more life, that's always good. Some damage. We also could go for Golem's Blood. Yeah, and then we also get some easy resistances over here. I think that's the play. Kinda should. I really don't want to grab this when I'm about to do a boss, but we can come back and get it after we do the boss. It's not a bad idea. Did you ever play World of Warcraft? I did, Marquise. I actually still play World of Warcraft. I was playing Kata Classic, but then my guild stopped raiding after we killed everything on T11. People just kind of stopped showing up to raids. So I think like I'll probably go back to retail. I actually might be, my guild on retail is a very social, just kind of hangout guild. I think they're doing like some transmog runs tonight, guild stuff. But I was planning on going back to War Within when it launches. See what it's like. Especially now since my Kata Classic guild is not a thing. I just don't want to look for another guild. Yeah, it's been pretty popular. I just I mostly was playing Classic with my old gaming buddies, and I just really don't want to look for another guild. Retail is a lot more flexible because you know, it's easy to run keys, and then like the group I'm with, you know, we do like normal and heroic raids, so that's pretty easy too. But Classic WoW requires more structure in the end game, unless like you're comparing it to Mythic raiding in retail for that kind of like guild structure. There's far fewer guilds that do Mythic raiding in retail than there are that do raiding in like Classic WoW. Situation. Damage is not terrible though. Okay. Alright, he's gonna be terrifying, but I think we can get through this decent enough. Just gotta bleed him down. Pop that, this. Also drop our war banner, that should help. You want to go ahead and attack the totem that is supposed to be taunting you instead of me? What the fuck, dude? I do like classic WoW. A lot. I just don't I don't want to have to like find another guild now to do all that, so it's more of a headache to try to do that in classic than it is in retail, so it's actually not that bad. I probably could find a guild. I don't know. I was doing it with friends. My friends aren't playing anymore, so I kind of lost interest.
Farewell.
35, 54% increased chance to block. What the fuck? What the fuck? Just lose resistances. I mean, we lose a lot. I guess it's just 7 all resists. What's our lightning look like right now? It's pretty bad. That would be like a lot of lightning resist to lose, but that's such a nice shield. 260 armor. Plus some life regen. But we need, that's our 3 link right now. We can't really afford to lose that, but I think I might fuck with this later maybe. So we'll take a look at it going down the road. This is garbage.
Tidings to you. Time and tide wait for no man.
Okay. Did I skip anything in the main campaign? Oh, we missed a skill point by not doing you, so we should go do that actually. I already did the Dweller in the Deep. We'll go back and do this real quick. Because that skill point will give me some easy resistance. We're going to get another 16 all resist here, which will actually cap me on everything but fire. It's not a bad place to be. Considering my gear is shit. See you, dude. Gains random charges. This guy's annoying as fuck. go for these life nodes. Should actually go to town and make sure that there's not any upgrades or random shit I can do. Kill this red piece? Yeah, we got this. He's a little scary. I think we'll skip him. Unless he wants to make it a thing, in which case, sure. We'll take up the fight. Like that. What's up, Fed? Quick question. Cyclone DPS increase with a staff. Can the 5% fizz damage tattoos make up for Band-Aid until if I ever get a new staff? Yeah, you could use those. It's not going to quite be the same, but just understand you're also lowering your health by converting strength nodes into damage nodes. Yeah, I would just POB it if you think you get good damage out of it, like, sure, you know.
Stay sharp out there.
I am playing hardcore solo self-found Ruthless right now. So 1 life with the hardcore, solo self-found, can't trade with other players, and Ruthless is a more extreme mode of the game where items don't drop as much. You can't get gem supports from a vendor, so you can only use gems that drop in the game. There's a lot of other changes. A lot of the recipes with vendors are gone. There's no bench craft in your hideout, so you can't craft things on items to fill gaps. You basically just have to use whatever the game drops. You can still craft with like currency. Yeah, I know, I'm a masochist. You can still craft with currency, but currency drops so little compared to the base game that like if you get maybe 100 alks, you're considered like, that's like the same as having like 2,000 alks in trade. It's a lot more ruthless. So I made a bleed glad character because the plan is going to be I'm going to pick up this next because this isn't like super great, but this makes it that when we do single target damage, we're going to have max effect of our bleeds. And then I'm going to go into the block nodes as I get towards the end of the campaign going into maps. I still have that Ruthless character, but I think that this character is going to be more effective. I think it's going to be easier to scale bleed damage, and I think it's also going to be a lot tankier because I'm going to be doing like the whole, you know, get lucky blocks from Gladiator with versatile combatant, so I'll have like 88 or 90% attack and spell block. And then I'll have a shit ton of endurance charges, life, stacking armor, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I should, if nothing unfortunate happens like being near these lightning nodes right now that are super fucking dangerous. These things are really sketch. Hold on, I gotta focus for a second. These things are really dangerous. So the way versatile combatant works is this lowers your block cap from 75% on attack and spell block down to 65%. However, for every attack block you have over 65%, every percentage point over 65%, it gives you 2% chance to block spell damage. So if you take this and you're capped at 65% attack block, but you have like 70 total, that extra 5% now gives you an additional 10% spell block. So what you do is you take this and then you just stack attack block, which is really easy to get on the tree, to also give you free spell block. So you can effectively become attack and spell blocked at 65 each, instead of just being like 75% attack block and 15% spell block. And then once you take more than skill, if you've blocked recently, you then have lucky blocks, which scales it up another 20%. And because you're always blocking on a block build, then we always have higher block. So this, in conjunction with this, is going to give me like, you know, 88 to 90% attack and spell block. Oh, you should. That's what the whole character is built around. Yeah, you should definitely be using versatile combatant because that's going to give you free spell block. That's how you get attack and spell blocked on my Cyclone build. I'm just doing the same thing on this one. The difference with the Cyclone is you have to use those jewels to get the Gladiator Ascendancy to scale it further. You know, you have to use Flame and Flesh and socket that into your tree to get the Gladiator notable. But I'm playing a Gladiator on this character, so I'll just spec into it. Yeah, it's what the whole build is based around. So taking versatile combatant on the Cyclone build is going to make you a lot tankier because it's going to get you with if you did everything else I told you to do, like the anointment on the amulet and everything else, you're going to have to be 65 on your block instead of like 72 and 20% spell block or whatever you see in game on the tooltip. And then when you get enough money, you get those Flame Flesh jewels to get this Gladiator Ascendancy, and that's just going to scale your block higher. Guy's annoying. But yeah, I just think this is going to be a better character to play on Ruthless than the Arc. I think the arc would be fine if I had certain gear for it, but I don't. So not having the gear to make it tankier and also not having the gems to make the damage good is just not, it just doesn't feel good as a first character. This is a much better character, I think, for starting a Ruthless. You know, with like no resources or whatever. Oh yeah, for sure. I should be effectively with everything I plan to do with this character. If everything works out and I don't die too soon, I should be very tanky. And for quite a while, I'm just going to be doing mapping on this character. I'll probably end up doing like the Atlas bosses to get Atlas completion. But I definitely won't be running T17s or doing like pinnacle bosses on this. This is going to be like a chill mapping kind of just slow creep of power gain. Yeah, can't play if you're dead. Yeah, I kind of enjoy, so I played Ruthless when it first came out, the very first league, like a year or so ago when they introduced the game mode. I actually like Ruthless because I really don't like the pace of trade. Like, you saw me do it when I streamed last week, you know, I beat the game or whatever with the Cyclone, but like, it's such a crazy tempo, and the thing about Ruthless is it's a lot more chill, you know, like it's that old school action RPG feeling where you just kind of like, you know, you're just kind of killing monsters. You actually care about the shit that drops in the game. I think it's a little too masochistic. I think they could tone it down a little bit with certain things I don't like. One of the things I don't like in Ruthless is map sustain is really hard. When you get 2 maps, you have to devote so much of your Atlas tree to just be able to sustain maps more so than you do on trade. And to me, that's not interesting because you're going to have to do that, right? If you don't do that, you won't get maps. So, like, I think it's a not interesting decision they made to make it like that, but that's kind of like quibbles. I think Ruthless has a lot of things I prefer over trade. I like the idea that you can only use gems that you find in the game. Like, they're going to give you certain gems while you level for, like, your main abilities. But like all of your supports you can only find if they drop in the game. There's no way to go to a vendor and get them or anything like that. If you play Ruthless trade, you can trade other players for supports, but I think playing trade on Ruthless defeats the point of Ruthless. Like if you're going to play Ruthless, you either do it like hardcore solo self-found or solo self-found. I think if you're playing Ruthless on trade, it kind of trivializes it because you'll just trade players what you need and then you have a character like you would on trade. To a degree. It won't be as powerful, but you're creating an extra step or a barrier to just being able to do what you would do on trade anyways. Yeah. When I did it like on a regular, when I did like regular SSF Ruthless the first time when they first brought it into the game, eventually I was able to get a character that was like able to, you know, do mostly everything outside of like we were Pinnacles at the time. It just took way longer, you know, and it's a much slower pace. But I kind of enjoy that. Like, I like the feeling of the power gain of a character. But there's things I like about trade too. Like, I was able to make my Cyclone build and scale it really well because of trade. And there's things I could do on my Cyclone build that I could never do in Ruthless. So it's you know, there's a give and take there. That's why I always play trade every league, and then I either do a hardcore character or I'll do something like this, like a hardcore Ruthless character. But like I usually play the different game modes to keep it interesting. I don't just play trade the whole league, and I never play one character for a league. But I'm also really good at building characters and getting through the game, so I don't really need to, like, you know, when you're a newer player, you're just following a guide, you really don't understand what's going on, and you just kind of like play that one character for the league. I've been playing this game too long. I gotta do different things to keep it interesting. For example, I also don't like Souls games. Yeah. Well, the thing I don't like about Souls games is those are very skill-based. And this game has, like, you know, skill checks too, especially on bossing. But Dark Souls is like, that's all that game is about, right? It's like learning a boss, learning how to counter each phase of a boss, perfect execution. So this has like a Souls-like element to it, where like you have to kind of understand more what's going on, especially if you're playing a hardcore setting, you know, Ruthless or whatever. But like, it's not like Ruthless where like, you know, just doing a map means you have to like, you know, execute ABC perfectly or you're gonna die. Like, you're relatively safe in most mapping situations if you've built a character properly. Yeah, I honestly am not a big Dark Souls fan, because there's not a whole lot of in-between, right? That's what the whole game is about, is like just boss fights and perfect execution of boss fights, which is like, you know, okay, whatever. But see, this is a very sketch situation right here. But you end up using items in Ruthless that you would never use in the real game. Like, I've got a decoy totem to try to keep these mobs off me, because there's quite a few of them right now that are swarming me. You have to stay in this little circle, right? Decoy totem is your best friend. It has its uses, you know? The cool thing about like playing solo self-found, and especially like Ruthless, is you're gonna find yourself using gems you would never use, right? Because every guide is gonna be like, oh, use these support gems because they're the most optimal. There's a lot of support gems in this game, and they may be within 5 or 15% as good as like the other support gems that get recommended over them, but they're still fine. They're just not as good, right? But when you're in like Ruthless, you're gonna find yourself using more and more of those odd gems that like get overlooked because, you know, you use what drops in the game. It's like right now I'm running a 3-link with Culling support and melee fizz. I got lucky with the melee fizz. But like if I get a 4-link with decent stats on it, I actually found a mana leech support, so I'll probably be running mana leech as a 4th link, which I would never do. But like, you know, I'll do it for Ruthless. It helps me with some sustain on my abilities. Just weird things like that. Yeah, you gotta adapt and overcome. As we would say in my old job, adapt and overcome and improvise. Alright. I've been playing PoE for about 7 to 8 years regularly.
I've never dueled a king before.
Yeah.
Last night for everything.
Yeah, when I started it was a very different game than what it is today. I actually first encountered PoE like probably 12 years ago, but I wasn't prepared to play a game like PoE at that point. It was a little too much for me back then. It was a much, like, as difficult as people say PoE is now, it's more simple back then, but it was far more difficult back then in terms of there wasn't like any power creep in the game at all, and I think that was like when I first encountered the game is when they first introduced the Atlas and maps, like, because there was a state of PoE where you didn't have Atlas and maps. Like, people would level characters to like Act 3 or 5 or something before the Orioth expansion came out and introduced like the Act 6 or 10. So the end game used to be like just get to like, you know, get through the first couple acts, and then you would just like, you know, that was basically it. Oh, okay, so you got serious around Crucible. Yeah. I think the first league I played really seriously was, I want to say it was Nemesis? Shit, I'd have to look at my profile. You can go back and see like all the league challenges you've done from every league. And I think Nemesis... I think it was the one with Traitors. Or Rogue Exiles, whatever league that was. I think that was Nemesis, right? I can't remember. But yeah, the one where they introduced like the Rogue Exiles, I think was when I first started playing seriously. Yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of this game over the next few months. I have, doing like an internship right now, but mostly my internship is just getting some certifications and training for the job I'll take in November. So I have a lot of free time, because getting these certifications is just easy for me. So I'm probably going to be playing a lot of games over the next 3 months, in between studying for certs and just taking cert tests. Yeah, PoE used to be a very, a much grindier game. There was a time, like when I first started playing, where you didn't get a 6-link. Like, getting a 6-link was incredibly rare. It was very common for you to spend like a week or two playing with a 5-link. And getting a 6-link was a huge like moment in your build when you could actually get to a 6-link. That used to be like a milestone when you could get your 6 gem going. And because of that, a tabula was really prized back in the day. Rare gear used to have a lot less you could do with it, and so uniques had more power. So for a lot of people, running a 6-link on a tab with no stats on the chest was still powerful enough because you got that 6 gem socket, and there was no like crafting Eldritch implicits, or that stuff didn't exist. There was not all these crazy influence stats with the conks and whatnot. So like, you know, yeah, just losing a bit of life and resist on a chest for a 6-link was a fair trade-off back in the day. Now you get so much power from a good crafted rare chest that you would never take a 5-link or, you know, a 6-link tabula over a decent rare chest. You didn't have to layer defenses as much back in the day too. Like, you didn't have to worry about, like, defenses were a lot simpler to scale back in the day too. You didn't have to have these layers of defense to protect you from, like, you know, a multiple different fronts of things that could happen to your character. So it was a lot easier just to play the game. You did way less damage, but you also didn't have to worry about, like, all the bullshit with defenses as much. Get a character tanky a lot easier. Yeah, everything was just easier to do back then, right? You just had less resources and it took more time, so it was like the trade-off, you know? Just everything was longer, but simpler. I have a feeling that's what PoE 2 is going to be like. It's going to be a lot simpler, right? It's going to be a lot easier to do things. You're just going to have to grind a lot more for the things you need to do it. I think it's going to be going back to that old, you know, PoE, late alpha, early beta kind of life. Double dipping stats bleed, yeah. Ooh, that was nasty. Okay, we don't like you. Fuck off. Okay. Fortunately, I can't bait the lightning. Refresh totem down. Drop our war banner, and let's fuck this guy up. Okay. Alright, last phase. This last phase is a little dangerous because you can do the lightning after the intermission, so not ideal. Drop totem. I think as long as I can keep him focused on totem, he should be okay. Dead spawned him. eventually here my coal should hit. Okay. Why are Eater Eldritch so rare compared to Exarch Eldritch currency? Even though I'm expecting to both of them similar. Typically Exarch is more rare than Eater, I'd say. It's usually pricier. That's because a lot of people like to run Eater. At least it is on PC. I don't know how it is on Xbox. But a lot of people like to run Exarch early on because it's more consistent currency. But then people like to run Eater later on because you can get like the Divine Altars and get more RNG, but like bigger gains and div card duping and stuff. So typically on like softcore trade on PC, Eater currency is cheaper. True, they did say they're going to improve the newbie first playthrough experience. Yeah, I think like PoE 2 is going to have a much easier UI to navigate, and like doing stuff is going to be easier to understand. But that feeling of it like being simpler but also more grindy, I think is going to be the vibe, right? I think it's going to be a simpler, more streamlined game experience with all this bloat removed. But then I think you're going to be grinding a lot harder for the things you need to do the things you want to do. Yeah, it depends on how you're spec'd into your Atlas tree, Fed. You got to really take all the. Did you take all the Eater stuff, like all the Eater stuff, or did you just take like some of it? Because you have to also like the more harder maps you run and the harder you scale stuff. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Are you? I would. You're wasting points. I would take the points out of one if you're focusing on the other and use those elsewhere on your Atlas tree. I don't know.
Greetings.
Yeah, typically you can only influence with Eater or Exarch, so you just point your Atlas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it has to do with quantity of mobs on the map. So the higher you roll a map, the more danger it is, but the more like mobs you can scale and packs on it, I think affects like the amount of altars that can spawn. That's why when you do really juiced maps, you get a lot of them. When you do like just a out and go, you see less. Yeah, I'm not sure. I typically don't have the same experience. I typically... but like I was doing a lot of T17s before I started doing this Ruthless stuff. T16s have lower drop right now in general. Like T16s feel really bad. So if you really want to like get good amount of stuff dropping or see better quantity of things, you probably should be running T17s if possible. They really affected the floor drop rate in 3.25. T16s don't feel good at all in general for anything, so. Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, I think part of the issue is that if you're just running T16s right now, you're getting a little bit less of everything than you normally would because of how they changed the core game. Yeah, I would maybe check YouTube. I never really got big into farming the Eldritch currency because I would just use the altars to do things on maps. I wasn't too concerned about farming Eldritch currency because I would just buy what I needed from trade. But there might be someone that's put a content video out there that specifically has like a strat for farming that kind of stuff because I know people sell in bulk. And there might be like certain things you can do to manipulate your Atlas tree to get more out of it. I might have to look into that if I'm going to actually get to maps on this character and need to farm it. Because that's a huge power creep on Ruthless, is being able to actually you have full access to all the Eldritch currency, right? So you can use it on your shit rare gear and Ruthless to get really good power gains and solve problems. Yeah, I highly recommend a website called Craft of Exile. It'll show you the weights on stuff that can roll. Should be the same for the console version of the game, I would imagine. But yeah, you'd have to hop on your PC or your tablet. You could probably do it on your tablet. Where is this quest? It's probably all the way up here. Here we go. It is a lot of armor. I have a laptop while I play on my 123 projection screen. Jesus, dude. 123 projection screen. How do you even see everything that's going on the screen? It's insanely large. Yeah, that's pretty nutty. I thought I had a pretty, like, people look at my stream and say, "Oh, you have a pretty wide, you know, monitor," I guess, because I have like a 35-inch curved monitor that I play the game on. And I remember going from like a regular 27-inch or whatever to this, and it was like, it took a week for me to get used to how wide the game actually is. But I could never go back now. It feels too squished if I play it on a regular monitor. I like the real estate. Yeah, you would have to sit pretty far back. Once you go big, you can never go back. Yeah. Yeah, I unfortunately I can't fit that in my apartment, but would be interesting to play a game on that large of a screen. Purity of Fire. Speaking of which, I just got, damn, it's good. Gotta go roll an RF Chieftain now. Purity of Fire. Ooh, those are super, super dangerous. It's like one of the worst odds a rare can have is that. My main interest is movies, so as a disabled person I spend a lot of time resting, so I have a full Dolby Atmos home theater. Sorry to hear about the disability. Yeah, movies are legit. I run a Plex server, so I have a lot of content that I manage. I really enjoy TV shows and movies myself too. Damn, that sucks, dude. Sounds like a incredibly hard life. I've recently been dealing with an issue myself, but it's nowhere near anything like what you're describing. My condition's manageable, at least. It's not something that prevents me from, fortunately, doing anything. It's just something I have to kind of manage and deal with every day. But oil rig life, that sounds fucking gnarly, for sure. Much respect, because I could, that's not for me. Yeah. Everything I've seen on that is like an incredibly hard life. Really well paying, but like really hard work. Okay, this guy is new. What the fuck is this thing? Am I gonna die? Bundle of woe. This is one of those new things they've added. Alright, so he does bleeds. That's terrifying. Can I call this guy? Alright. So, I got a ring. A shitty ring. That's all I get. Gotcha. Yeah, I worked in factories for like 10 years. And then I joined the military and did 8 years in the military so I could get my, you know, comp sci degree and a bunch of other stuff. So now I can go work in IT and chill for the next 25 years. Because those 16-hour days on my feet in the factory were a lot more simple, but a lot more hard work. Now I get to work from home and chill. Yeah, I would, you know, when I started out at that job, I was making like $7.25 an hour. So I would work a shit ton of overtime for the time and a half, and then I came in on my 1 day off every week to learn how to do stuff, because I was sanitation at the time. So I would, like, you know, mop the floors and do shit like that, clean the equipment in the factory. But I came in on my 7th day off. I did this for like 8 months, so I worked 8 months, 7 days a week. But I didn't get paid on the 7th day, and I would come in and learn how to run the machines on the extra day. And eventually, they hired me on to the main. Yeah, they hired me on to the main production line. Then I worked my way up, became a brake guy, and then a supervisor, then a superintendent. But even as a superintendent with salary, I was in the factory at least 12, 14 hours a day, scheduling, you know, fixing things that went awry. And I was like about to turn 30, and I was like, do I really want to do this shit for another 30 years? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, this is gonna kill me. So I was like, how can I get into an easier job without the time to make the segue? And a lot of guys I worked with were vets, and they're like, well, if you join the military, they'll train you and let you go to school and do a bunch of other stuff. So I was like, okay. So I joined the military and got my degree and experience and certs and everything, and it worked out. Yeah, these guys are just not gonna want to die. It is, but I got my degree for free because of the service. Yeah, I ended up going to a really good school virtually, so I got like a almost $100,000 degree for free. So I'm also in no debt, which, yeah. Well, they have a thing, so I still have the GI Bill. I can use that now to get a master's degree since I'm separating this year. So I'll probably pursue a master's degree in like the next few years. But while you're in the military, at least in the Air Force, they have a thing where they give you money every year to go to school anyways. So you just go to school and you get free tuition money every year. So I just did a bunch of college classes over the years and got my degree that way. And almost every university, to include the good ones, will have lower tuition rates if you're active duty military. So you get a lot of use out of that money they allocate every year for you. I gotta do this this trial. Alright, don't die. That's the plan. Let's not die to a trial. Would like to do my next lab. Yeah, there's always risks in life, right? Most of my deployments were relatively fine. I did go to Afghanistan once, and that was an experience, but all my other deployments were non-combat deployments. I was in some combat zones, but I wasn't involved with any of that kind of stuff. It wasn't like my Afghanistan deployment. But my job was always IT support, so it wasn't like I was an infantry guy on a hill or something like that. You know, I wasn't ever going beyond the wire or doing crazy shit. I was tech support. Even out there, they need tech support, you know? Most I had to deal with was like, you know, rockets and mortars and things like that. It wasn't direct fire. This could be gnarly. These guys do quite a bit of damage. Yeah, it's yeah. It's a thing. It's eerie how quickly you adapt to that kind of stuff when it's a part of your everyday life. And then it's even more eerie when you come back and you have to readjust to normal life and the slightest thing triggers you and brings you back into those moments where those things, like, it's like muscle memory takes over and you have to readjust to normal life again. When I came back from that deployment, I was living in the UK and it was bonfire night or whatever. It was like November. I remember the fireworks were freaking me out because it was like, you know, bring me right back. But eventually, that kind of went away for the most part. Alright, let's get out of this place. We did the lab, we're done. We're never going to use any of these flasks anyway, so... That's the other thing about Ruthless. Flasks are shit. So, like, your utility flasks don't gain charges in combat. So you effectively can't rely on flasks for armor or evasion or damage. So in Ruthless, you basically run just life flasks and mana flasks, and then you run 1 or 2 Quicksilver flasks. The Quicksilver flasks have half the movement, like half the duration that they do on regular game mode. So you only use a Quicksilver flask to essentially, for a quick burst of speed to get out of trouble. You don't actually use it to move quicker, you know, consistently. So in Ruthless, you just basically run life flasks and like a Quicksilver. Maybe 2 Quicksilvers. And then a mana flask if you need it until you fix your mana. But you can't really use the flasks at all. There are no movement skills in Ruthless. So they give you one movement skill called Quick Step, but it has a 10-second cooldown. And it doesn't go through terrain. So if you're trying to like jump over water or something or go around something, Quick Step doesn't work like that. It's full line of sight and it has a really long cooldown. Every other movement skill doesn't exist in Ruthless. So that's the thing too.
Hello.
And when Ruthless first came out, Quick Step wasn't a thing. When I played Ruthless last time, Quick Step wasn't in the game, and then after like 1 or 2 leagues, they realized that they had to put some kind of movement skill in, so they gave you Quick Step, but they just made it with a really long CD, and they made it where you can't abuse terrain skips and stuff. It's all about the grind. Yeah, it's all about the grind. It's a much different vibe than regular League. There is things you can do to kind of get around that. So like something I'm probably going to do on this build is Consecrated Path is a ability in the game. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it is a skill that basically teleports you into a pack of mobs, and then you do a bunch of like I think it's fire and lightning damage. That exists in Ruthless. So my plan is to hopefully get a Consecrated Path to drop in the game. And then I can use that as a, like, get out of shitty situations. So as long as there's monsters on the map, say I'm surrounded by shit I don't want to be, like, I could use that click elsewhere on the screen and teleport where I am to another part of the screen, you know, within like a certain amount of range. Yeah, pretty much. It's like a flame dash, but to the nearest monster. So there are things like that that I could do, which will also help me like get around terrain and stuff. But I'll have to like wait till one drops in the game, because that's not a gem that I get while leveling, at least as a duelist. So I'll either have to create another character and mule it for the gem, or if that's even a reward for one of the other classes, or I'll have to wait till it just drops in the game to use it. The other thing too is all the good auras that don't reserve mana irritative, like in an irritative fashion. So I'm using like Vitality right now. They give you like access to some of the auras while you're leveling, but like all the good ones, right? Grace, Determination, Pride, Malevolence, like all the ones that just flat reserve mana regardless of what level they are, you don't have access to those either. You have to wait for them to drop in the game. So you could kill like 400,000 monsters before you get one of your auras that you want to drop, or you know, you could get lucky and it drops sooner. It's kind of like for bragging rights, you know, like if you can actually get a character online in Ruthless, and then you can you know, get it to maps, and then, you know, hell, like even complete your Atlas or something and kill the regular bosses. It's a pretty good accomplishment, right, on Ruthless, especially if you're doing it like hardcore, and then you're doing it solo self-found, so you get no assistance from anyone. So part of me is just doing this like just to be like, can I do it? You know, like, can I, how far could I get in this mode is kind of like the question. How far can I actually get? Pretty confident I can get to maps. I'm pretty confident I could probably kill Eater and Exarch relatively fine, because those are simple enough fights. I think Maven would be a little dangerous because she has the degen, and Uber Elder might be a little dangerous. But those are just pure skill checks at that point. Like, do you mechanically play well enough to be able to do them? Oh, let's take Unwavering Stance. So now I can't be stunned ever. That's a good thing. We'll take that. Stun immunity is really good. And now I never go for evasion on gear. That's the plan. Well, actually it's not too bad, because I could also take Iron Reflexes and just convert any evasion I have on gear into armor. So we'll probably do that too if I end up having a lot of armor evasion pieces. That's what I have to work with. That's a pretty interesting weapon in terms of its damage range. What else do we have access to? So these are pretty... I really like this one, but I don't have the money for it. Ooh, we can get this though. 49 to 77 is pretty good, and then we can whetstone this for some good damage. A lot better. I think it's worth running one of these on. Oh, we got so lucky. Holy shit, look at that axe. What the fuck? So this is a good example of a Ruthless moment where, like, this is actually a big moment. That's effectively double the damage of my current weapon. That's fucking huge, actually. That's literally like an actual giga moment right there. Holy fuck, that's so good. That's actually worth using a Regal on, I think. Yeah, because that's like attack speed and flat increased fizz. They're both really, obviously, low rolls, but if I Regal this and hit like a adds fizz to fizz or something like that, that would be fucking godly. That won't happen, but Chaos resistance. Fuck, I'll take it. Alright. Holy shit, dude.
Hello.
Imagine the fucking luck. And that's the joy of Ruthless, right? Ruthless is all about the items that drop. That's kind of like the appeal to it. You're not trading with other players if you're playing SSF like I am. And you can't benchcraft stuff. You get limited currency to roll gear. So it's a lot, especially early on like this. It's literally like, what are you finding in the game? So a moment like that, where I'm using like almost all of my currency on a YOLO, on a base, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. My damage should feel pretty good now. So we'll see. We'll know really when we get to the boss here. But already charged mind support. Okay. I'll never use that on this build, but that's a thing. Like, I don't even have enough currency right now to roll a corrupted blood flask, so I don't have any bleed immunity right now. Oh, the other thing too, Fed, is there's no Pantheons in Ruthless. So when I hit like my Y key, or whatever that would be on Xbox, there are no Pantheons. So there is no easy access to the power creep that Pantheon gives you too. No freeze immunity, no bleed immunity, or, you know, no extra damage while moving with bleed, none of that. Still pick up axes because I might get something crazy on a rare drop. Yeah, we'll see how the damage feels on this guy now. This will be a good check. Alright. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. We'll take it. We'll take that. It's not great, but not bad. Okay. Totem, I need you to go back to work for me, please. The decoy totem is like the MVP, hands down. Fucking just a Chad from beginning to end. Doesn't get enough praise for what he contributes to the team here. Let's drop banner. Oh shit, I double clicked it. Fuck, that was a damage loss. I had a chance, or what was it, cast when death support or whatever drop earlier today, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a great gem for hardcore. Cast on Death is what it was, yeah. I was like, well, GG. That's a perfect gem to drop for me. Oh, you missed the melee totems? Yeah, I wish they hadn't made Warbanner into the new totem. At least it's invincible. But they basically just got rid of having to use that and then always having to use Warbanner, so you feel like you're just still using a totem. I did kind of like the spammy look of the old totems, I agree. I didn't like having to rely on them on a melee build, but you have to rely on Warbanner, so it's like, yeah. I get that they don't want Warbanner just to be an aura that gives you power. They want you to kind of do something with it, but they basically made it a totem. So I don't know. Now I guess now you just run like one totem instead of two. I guess is the thought process there. Alright. We got a lab here, and now I should be able to, after I do this, I'll be able to do my second lab soon. We'll get that aggravated bleed, which won't do much for us when we're mapping, but whenever we encounter a tough rare or a stationary boss, that's going to do a lot for us, actually. It's going to do a lot for us. Or like these casters that stand in place, it'll do a lot for that too. Why'd I pick you up? Oh, because we might have died. Yeah, you're nowhere near as good as my amazing axe that I now have, so... Which is awful pathing. Okay. Gonna go hardcore deep mapping for an hour so get some meter currency. Yeah, I'm gonna get some food soon. I might actually be heading out soon here. I'm gonna get some dinner. Yo man, if you would squeeze a headhunter on your Giga in-game setup, how would you deal with a loss of the T1 resistances? That's the trade-off, see ya. Yeah. That's why I have the headhunter rune craft on my staff and not using a headhunter. So I kind of get a little bit of that headhunter effect, but I don't have to sacrifice, you know, the benefit of what the belt's giving me. It's going to be hard to replace that, so you have to do some major respecking probably on the tree and some other stuff to compensate. That's why I'll just go for a Mage Blood in the end on my Cyclone guy, because that'll help me fix resistances and defenses with flasks a lot easier using a belt like that. Yeah, I didn't design my Cyclone guy off of running a Headhunter, unfortunately. So resistances are hard on the build until you get a Mage Blood, or you just use, like, you know, rare gloves and rare belt to help out. And I'm gonna be completely honest, like, Headhunter is gonna feel better, don't get me wrong. But with that rune enchant on my staff, and I reliably get like 5 to 15 souls at a given time when mapping, I really don't feel like I need a Headhunter at all. It feels good enough. It's not as good, but it's okay. Oh, I haven't gone to town yet. I really need to do that. Yeah, that's why it's an amazing craft. It costs like, it's gonna cost you a bit. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 30 divine or so for the runes to do it. But it was well worth it in my opinion. You know, and then once you eventually get a mage blood, you can kind of have the best of both worlds to a degree, which is, you know, which is fine in my opinion. You're just giving me cold resistance. We need the intel, though, on a neck. We really need the Dex Intelligence neck, turquoise or whatever. That's what we really need. These guys just instantly spawn on me. That's fantastic.
One.
51 life and resistances. It's much as I want movement speed boots.
Yeah, there's an.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna get some food going and wind down for the evening. Probably play this a bit more off stream. I should be in maps hopefully tomorrow. That's the plan, as long as I don't die. Thanks, man. Thanks, Fed. Yeah, I think the plan will be hopefully to be in maps tomorrow, and then I can actually start maybe doing stuff end game on this build. Well, not end game, but like post campaign. Work on the Atlas progression. I got to figure out what Atlas trees I want to do, because Ruthless is it's very different than trade. So I might have to go look at a few things for what content I want to farm, especially in an SSF version of this. But I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'll actually get to maps on this, as long as I don't do something stupid. So we'll see where I'm at tomorrow. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.